Kelly won 5 in a row. Lisa won 4 in a row. I'm going for 6 in a row. When I got there, I realised I'm not going for world titles. I'm going for self-worth, worthy of love and affection and attention and respect that I was denying myself of until I'd wrapped the accolade around it first. And then when one of my friends asked me, so are you enough yet? What's driving you? Do you think it's because you're adopted? It's like, oh shit, that hurts, but it's true. Yeah, you're right.
Welcome to Water People, a podcast about the aquatic experiences that shape who we become back on land. I'm your host, Lauren Hill, joined by my partner, Dave Rastovich. Here we get to talk story with some of the most interesting and adept waterfolk on the planet. We acknowledge the Bundjalung Nation, the traditional custodians of the land and waters where we work and play, who have cared for this sea country for tens of thousands of years. Respect and gratitude to all First Nations people, including elders past, present, and emerging. This season is supported by Patagonia, whose purpose-driven mission is to use business to save our home planet. Today, we're in conversation with 7-time World Surfing Champion Layne Beachley and Tess Brouwer, self-proclaimed corporate athlete turned mental and emotional fitness coach. Together, Layne and Tess are the founders of Awake Academy, where they lead programs that awaken self-awareness, resilience, and emotional intelligence in workplaces and communities. This episode is live from the Byron Writers Festival, a celebration of the act of creation, of writing and art making, community building, and the good, hard work of progress. Except our region had an unexpected deluge and completely flooded out the venues for the second and third days of the event this year. Unexpected cancellations opened up the opportunity to chat with authors like Layne and Tess, who are the co-authors of the book Awake Academy, wherein they share the life-altering changes that shook their respective senses of purpose. Layne details the come down from her 19-year professional surfing career, and Tess, a former head of partnerships for Virgin Australia, shares the tumultuous road to recovery after a life-changing spinal cord injury amongst frozen water. Their stories and friendship led to the creation of Awake Academy, and the book adaptation of their popular workshop features their personal stories, of course, as well as positive psychology principles and practical exercises to boost energy, emotional intelligence, and empathy. In addition to Tess and Layne, Courtney Miller joins me as co-host this episode. She's chair of the Byron Writers Festival and is a relentless advocate for art and community engagement. Courtney has been a political advisor, worked in the arts and fashion, and currently heads up a philanthropic foundation focused on the next generation. Just as an aside, she's also the eldest daughter of one of our previous podcast guests, Rusty Miller, renowned big wave surfer and octogenarian surf coach. I'll let Courtney take it from here, live from the abbreviated 2025 Byron Writers Festival.
Normally, we would be at a huge festival site in a big tent with lots of people screaming and cheering and laughing when we're funny and all of those things. But we really wanted to get the insight from these two wonderful people who I'm about to introduce in a second to get what they're doing out into the world still in some form. So without further ado, I would like to introduce someone who needs no introduction, Layne Beachley, an absolute iconic female world surfing champion. And particularly for this conversation, she's a wellness advocate. She now works in the business and mental wellness advocacy Awake Academy. She very much knows the importance of mental resilience, determination, and overcoming those big hurdles and challenges. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
And she has done that with the wonderful Tess Brouwer, who's also sitting here.
My sidekick.
Partner in crime. Tess is the CEO of Awake Academy. She's a practitioner of positive psychology and well-being. She's a corporate athlete, a mental wellness mentor, and she experienced completely life-changing physical change with a spinal cord and brain injury, which she used as an extraordinary awakening. That's good. To build that resilience, mental fitness, and effective tools that we're going to talk through a little bit, which anyone can use in whatever way that they need. Surfing, business, writing, etc. I'll pass to I'm sorry, I'm not Dave today, but I will pass to Lauren.
It's nice to have all female voices on the podcast today.
I have reeled my very good friend Lauren Hill in to help co-host host this conversation today?
Well, we're here because the festival unfortunately has been canceled due to incredibly abundant rain amidst a climate that is changing in ways that no one is predicting accurately. And so we are flowing with what life has in store for us. Courtney is the chair of the Byron Writers Festival and has done such an incredible job gathering incredible authors like yourselves from all over the world to support art and artists and culture and dialogue. And unfortunately, we're having to have this conversation not in front of a live audience, but here together. Nevertheless, really important, your work. Thank you so much. And appropriate that it is water that canceled the event. And here we are in a space where we always talk about the aquatic experiences that we have in the ocean, with frozen water, or wherever we find water, and how those experiences shape who we become back on land. We always begin by asking about a time or experience after which you were never the same. I'm sure you have many. Is there one in particular that is particularly relevant to the book, and would you be willing to share those experiences with us?
I mean, it would be hard not to go to 2018 when I had my spinal cord injury. I just want to honour you, Courtney. I've worked in events my whole life, and to put on such a huge festival and then at the 11th hour for it to begin and you see the magic in it, and then for it to be paused for things out of your control, and to everyone who bought tickets and participants and authors and to everyone who's feeling a sense of loss or grief in that. So I wanted to honour you for showing up today, because I rang you this morning and I said, what can we do? How can we help? And you said I'd get back to you. And you said to me, well, I think it's important that we have a conversation and honour where we're at. And that's what has brought me to writing a book, was being honest with myself. So to all the listeners out there that are feeling it, hopefully we can, I trust that we'll give you a little bit of light and an awakening through this. When I was flat on my hospital bed, staring at a wall with a neck brace on in a spine and brain unit at 33, while all my friends were getting married, having babies, I was staring at this white wall thinking my life is over. And I had no expectation of what life would look like outside the hospital walls, because at that point it was just about me getting up every day and having a shower. And if that was done, that was success. And then that meant going to the gym. And I really applied that theory today, actually. It's like when the messages came through, I thought, well, the only thing I can control right now is getting up and going out into the ocean and, just honouring how I was feeling in that, again, that sense of loss and grief. But I remember when I was lying there and I was looking at this white wall for so long, like just days would go by and I'd just be staring at a white wall and a terribly coloured curtain. Hospitals have the worst curtains. And I was thinking, what can I do with my life? Where can I go? I was a corporate athlete. I'd worked, for Virgin for so many years. My identity was wrapped up in what I did, not who I was. And I had all of these labels surrounding my life. Like, I'm broken, I've got a spinal cord injury, a brain injury. Like, I had everything. I was complex PTSD, depression, anxiety. Like, there was just every label was coming at me. Your bladder and bowel will never work properly again. And like, it was just so much to take on. I thought, like, well, who am I now? And the privilege that I had was at Virgin, I worked with many different people, including Courtney, believe it or not, in a roundabout way, who came from all walks of life, and they all wanted sponsorship or money from Virgin. So I was the woman with the golden ticket, but I met Layne. I think we
2014, 2015, one of those years.
20-something teen. And when Layne walked into the boardroom at Virgin, she'd already secured the sponsorship for her foundation, Aim for the Stars. And I had thought it was another CEO special, and I just had to accept that we've just sponsored another thing. And I walked in almost begrudgingly, because I was in the middle of the AFL season and Virgin Australian Melbourne Fashion Festival, and Layne walks in and I was like, what a breath of fresh air. And you only have to spend 1 second with Layne and her beautiful eyes, and she just looks into your soul and really holds space and tells her story so vulnerably. And I was like, whoa, who is this woman? And I mean, you meet a lot of people too. So it was, you knew how to connect and see people. But there was something in this that I thought, well, we'll just get to know each other. And the universe has these plans where you just kind of always meet. So we'd meet at all of these media events, and we'd always be sat next to each other. It was weird how that happened.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
we tended to find ourselves at the same events drinking the same rosé.
And then
Sorry, can I just ask how you ended up in that hospital room?
Oh, I had a skiing accident that I ignored.
What does that mean?
Well,
She was going down a
frozen water, just to be
frozen
clear.
water,
Yeah.
which is really hard. I mean, I'm sure it's like hitting a brick wall of a wave.
No.
But I was
Maybe
skiing down a mountain
reef.
in France, and I was on a black run, and like Australians on black runs just don't make sense sometimes. Fresh off the plane, and I had gone down a mountain and they cut through the wall with they're like ice walls because you're going down huge mountains, and I lost my footing and I skied straight into a wall and lost my skis and headbutted the wall, felt a rush of pins and needles through my body, felt myself like almost wet my pants, cracking headache, like pins and needles, all of that. And I just thought, well, I can't fail in this moment. I'm with my new team and new business, and did what any normal people or what any high performance person does who doesn't want to feel shame, and managed to get my skis back on and ski down the mountain. And I left with a really bad headache and a sense of I've done something.
But then you left it as well, right?
I left it. Yeah.
How long?
3 months. Yeah.
Were you having residual
I was
symptoms?
having huge symptoms. So I was wetting my pants at work and going to the shops and buying 2 other pants to put them on. And I was pins and needles up and down my arms, loss of feeling of my legs all the time. So I'd just walk and just fall over. Couldn't hold a pen, forgot how to turn my computer on.
Okay, so what's the story that you're telling yourself through this period?
Don't fuck up. Can I swear?
Yeah, always.
Shame. And that was the journey that I found on the bed staring at a white wall, is like so much shame.
What got you to the hospital, though?
I couldn't function.
You crashed.
I literally, like at this point, I couldn't even walk in a straight line properly.
And so did you take yourself to the ED, or did you make a doctor's appointment?
I took myself to ED. I had self-diagnosed myself with MS because a lot of the symptoms are pins and needles, loss of fit, and I thought I'll just deal with it when I get home in Australia. And I said to them on admission, I hit my head, and they said, no, you have this anxiety tablet and go home, you're stressed. And then at the office, I still couldn't feel my hands, and they said, you've got to go back to hospital. Like, we've got to, advocate for yourself. And I went back in and said I hit my head, and they started doing MRIs, but they only MRI'd my brain. They weren't looking anywhere else. Then I was like, my body was shutting down. My speech was getting distorted. And then they had 2 lumbar punctures, and I had everything. I had electrolysis through my brain. I was literally a guinea pig for a week in a non-English speaking country, or second English. Yeah. Wow. And the shame that I had gone overseas to live a dream life, to, be corporate Tess in a world that was, the universe was sort of saying like, go get it, and I was on a corporate ladder that I wanted to keep on climbing. So I didn't want to fail. Wow. And that failure is something I've recognized throughout my whole life, and through the work that I've done, is don't fail, don't stop, don't be a burden. You're not bad. There's wars going on. There's way worse medical injuries than what you're feeling right now. So I just suppressed. Yeah. So the shame that I felt in my soul that I had done something and ignored it, I didn't want to be seen as the victim or the injured person, was a story I've run my whole life, and avoiding pain. So I didn't call home until I had one last scan, and the radiologist said to me, you hit your head? And I said, yeah. And he said, you've got a spinal cord injury. You need to have emergency surgery. And that was when the world shattered. So, because I thought I could deal with an autoimmune disease. Like, I'm pretty strong. I can deal with that. I mean, all credit to the people who deal with that every day. It's horrible. I probably couldn't deal with it. But they gave my mum 24 hours to get over to Switzerland, and we had a routine surgery, which I thought would be a 6-week healing time. But it came back to Australia, and I still couldn't feel my legs. I was still wetting my pants every day. And they noticed that my spinal cord was swelling from the trauma, and they rushed me in for another emergency surgery in Australia. So then I woke up in a spinal ward and was told I wouldn't get out for another 3 months. And that was when the world truly did shatter again, because you're surrounded by paralysed people, but I could still walk. So kick in survivor guilt and all of those things that happen to you. But it was on the flat of my bed when I called Layne and said, my life's over. I think I need you.
Let me come visit with a book.
Yeah. And so she arrived with a book called Your Dream Life and said, I think this is your opportunity to create your dream life. And I was like, is this chick for fucking real? I'm
out of touch.
Spinal cord surrounded by.
And what cup of half full are you drinking?
Yeah.
What
were you thinking?
You've got no money, you've got no car, you've got no home, you've got no clothes, you've got no job, you've got no partner, and you're in a spinal ward.
Under psychiatric
care.
Sedated.
In a neck brace.
In a neck brace.
Build
Here's your
your
dream life. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
She's known for being audacious, though.
I have. I am known for that.
What gave you the courage to give me that book?
I didn't see it as courage. I saw it as an opportunity just for you to change the story or write the story around the life that you wanted to live, because everything around you was suggesting that your life was over. And yet I truly believed in your tenacity and your courage and your bravery, and also your just inner fortitude to build a life that you can subscribe to, that's not dictated to by scientists or diagnoses.
Yeah.
And you have admitted that you only wrote one thing in that book, and that was to build a business.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I know. Yeah, that was the only thing I've written in that book because I couldn't write.
Yeah.
So I was just imagine myself writing in the book, and I remember picking up the pen and just, all right, start a business. And I mean, I had no idea it would be with you.
I know. Yeah, you weren't very specific, were
But
you?
you've applied that courage, not the courage, the fortitude, your whole career.
I have. And so when we go back to that question about when were you never the same, look, after every good wave, I'm not the same.
A good wave does that.
Yeah. Even after every bad surf, I'm not the same. You know, we all ride the highs and lows of life. I think as surfers we have the advantage of being able to adapt to those changing tides and the changing conditions of life, and have the resilience and the ability to keep it in perspective, because we are, as humans, we're creatures of comfort, but as surfers, we're adapters to change.
Yes.
And I was thinking about Tess's story and just how painful that experience was for you. And I'm thinking most people, when you ask that question, would resort to a place of pain. Like, when were you not the same after that? It's like, well, pain is the easiest place to come back to, because it's so powerful and so strong. It's like fear is way more powerful than love, because we're more familiar with it and we spend more time in it.
And it keeps us alive.
And we are, we're negatively wired through survival mechanisms that we inherited from cavemen. Whereas I thought, there was one time when my life completely changed. Actually, there's been a million times in my life when I'm not the same. My mum dying first being given up for adoption, and then my mum dying when I was 7, my dad telling me I was adopted when I was 8, being bullied at school, finding surfing for the first time. I think the one that I just came back to was a wave that I rode at a place called Ours off Cornell. And the reason that I wasn't the same afterwards had a lot to do with the feeling and the fear that I was able to overcome, and the surrender that I had to death in that particular moment in time. Like, I literally, when I let go of the tow rope, when I was towed into this wave, and for anyone that wants to see it, you can see it on YouTube. Just type in Layne Beachley at Ours, which is Ours.
In case anyone needs to spell Ours.
In case you don't know how to spell it. It's a wave that breaks over a very flat barnacle-covered slab of rock into a rock face, and it's a really big death-defying barrel. It's a slab. By any surfing terminology, it's a slab. And I was invited by the Brouwer boys to be the first woman to surf this wave, and I was ready to politely decline the invitation, but my husband actually encouraged it, which phenomenally, I don't think he had any idea where I was being sent.
He's like, go to Ours. Sure, Ours sounds great.
Ours sounds good. Go have fun, honey.
So wise. OWL.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who has performed in front of 100,000 people at Wembley.
250,000 people in Rock and Rio. So sending me to my death was no problem. So when I rocked up, I was overwhelmed. It was scary. Then I jumped into the lineup and I edged my way into the lineup where I was able to catch some waves. And then when I finally took hold of the tow rope, and it took a lot of courage to do that and a lot of encouragement. When I was towed into this particular wave, first I remember the guys screaming at me to watch the bubble, which at the first point I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then what
is a bubble?
It's where the wave kind changes shape. It morphs over a particular rock, creates like this step in the wave. So it's hard to explain. But anyway, I navigated the bubble, and then when I stood up in the barrel and I looked ahead of me, the wave was so big and so far ahead of me, I literally, the first thought I had is I'm dead, because I know the consequences of not making this barrel is being on the rock face and being taken home in an ambulance. So I thought, but while I'm here, and it's amazing how many thoughts you can have in a split second, right?
Can I just, for context, for the only non-surfer in the room, how big is this wave?
It's actually less about the height and more about the width.
Yeah,
So
the
slab
girth.
waves aren't necessarily tall, but it's like a slab of the ocean is engulfing you back into itself.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
And the power, like there's a difference between big and friendly or even small and powerful.
Yeah.
This is a powerful wave.
Yeah, okay.
And it was a big groundswell too. So it was moving with a lot of force and a lot of energy. So if you think about every square metre by square metre of water as a tonne, and there was a lot of square meterage over my head.
There's a lot of tons coming
ahead of me too. So the barrel was already 20, 30 feet ahead of me. And I literally stood in it going, okay, I'm dead. But secondly, why don't I just keep looking for the exit and give myself the benefit of the doubt and enjoy the beauty of my last view of the ocean. And some miraculously, because I surrendered and I relaxed, the whitewash ball came up underneath me and literally lifted me and pushed me out. And I've learned obviously in life where you look is where you go, and surfing, that's so important. And I kept looking for the way out, not, oh shit, I'm about to die. And when I came out of that barrel, I think everyone was as relieved as they were stoked, because they weren't going to have to put me in an ambulance. Layne didn't die today. And she just got, one of the biggest barrels that a woman has ever got, especially, and it was the first one a woman had ever ridden at ours. So it was pretty miraculous. Wow. And I earned more respect and recognition from my peers for that one ride than I did for winning 7 world titles.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my life changed quite considerably after that. But I literally put my board in the boat and went, thanks, Ours.
One and done.
I'm out. It's been fun.
Have either of you ridden that wave?
Oh, no.
No, I've watched it from the beach. I've watched my partner
It's a cliff.
surf it.
There's no beach.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sorry, the rocky shoreline at the edge of it. It's tremendously powerful.
Yeah, right.
I have zero desire to surf a wave like that. And I'm so, with total respect because...
Well, I didn't either. I had zero desire to ride it either.
Yeah.
But I was invited to do so.
Yeah.
So. I was grateful that the Brouwer boys invited me to do that. So.
Thanks, Brouwer boys.
Thank you.
Shout out.
Thanks, Mark Matthews.
Amazing effort.
Thank you.
Wow.
It sounds a little bit, and that sort of surrender to the moment or surrender to the death of that moment is it's a little bit like birth too. Yeah. It's that ultimate surrender that you almost have to leave your mind and stay in your body. And I really found that in birth and it was,
when you gave birth?
Sorry, when I was a baby. No, I really found that moment when I gave birth was the surrender to my body, that it knew what it was doing. And
Instinct.
Instinct kicked in, and I feel like I wouldn't have had that moment if I didn't go through such a loss of feeling of my body. And when...
Because you gave birth how many years after the accident?
I gave birth 5 years after the accident, and I had, because I'd lost feeling of my body so many times, and particularly whilst I was in hospital, that medical trauma and all of that hit me when I was giving birth, and I wanted to really feel my body. I wanted to be present in that moment. And when they gave me, I was a high-risk pregnancy and I had to have Syntocin, and my whole body went numb. And I paused the birth. I was like, I can't, you can't do this to me. I can feel the epidural was kicking in, and they didn't know how to turn the machine down. They only knew how to give you more. And when they turned it down, I could feel my body again. That's when my body relaxed and I gave birth. And that reminds me of when you say that, it's like when you truly trust your body, you're looking for the way up and out,
And you're surrendering
to the moment.
Yeah.
50-foot wave.
Sometimes it takes a lot of failures or non-makes to get to that point of building the instinct to know when to relax, to be able to relax into
Well, you know
it.
the consequences of the failure, don't you?
Yeah.
So I was thinking this yesterday when I was paddling out at 10-foot, my local beach break, very under-equipped and underprepared. And I thought, I've stopped chasing those waves now because I've stopped training for the wipeout. You
Yeah.
need to train for the beating. You don't train to ride it. You train for the beating, and I've stopped training for the beating.
Yeah.
Those are wise words.
I feel like that's a book you could do, just
Train for the beating. Well, do you know what? It's a very good segue into the Awake Academy, the book, because it is a train for the beating. Because, both of us have struggled so deeply with mental health issues that these are the tools that were shortcutting the struggle to get us into our body, because you can't lead from a body you've left behind. And both of us, it was like a journey home. And these are all the tools that we've had to rely on every day and still do every day and give to people, because it's not common knowledge. Mental health or training for the beating is not
Well, it's not common vernacular.
No. Yes. Maybe it is now.
Before we get to Awake Academy, can I ask a question that's just kind of goes back to how you got to that point? So like what drove your ambition in the very beginning, both of you respectively, to want to be at a point where you are at such a high level in your respective worlds that you have to train for a beating, like that.
Or you avoid training for the beating?
Well, no, I mean, whether you're in corporate world, whether you're surfing, you were aiming to be the best. You're aiming to.
But what was driving that?
What was driving that?
Yeah, so
From that beginning kind of.
If I reflect on my professional surfing career, what was driving the desire to be the best in the world was self-worth. It was love. Yeah. I had decided as a kid that when my dad told me I was adopted, that I was undeserving of love, and the only way that I could prove to the world that I was worthy of it is become a world champion. Yeah. Then I became a world champion. I was like, I'm not worthy yet. I became a second, third, fourth, fifth, still not worthy. And then when I won my sixth one, I chose to be worthy because no one else had done that. Kelly won 5 in a row. Lisa won 4 in a row. I'm going for 6 in a row. When I got there, I realised I'm not going for world titles. I'm going for self-worth. I'm going for that worthiness of being worthy of love and affection and attention and respect that I was denying myself of until I'd wrapped the accolade around it first.
Yes.
And then when one of my friends asked me, so are you enough yet? Have you, well, first she said, what's driving you? Do you think it's because you're adopted? It's like, oh shit, that hurts, but it's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's that fear of rejection, that fear of worthlessness, that fear of not being loved. And then I got there and went, that all comes from within. So that's what this journal, also known as a book, is a reflection of, are all the lessons that I learned along that way, and all of the things that I let go of along the way, which were loving relationships, supportive sponsors, love of my body, love of myself. I let go of all of that because I put everything outside of me ahead of me. Yeah. And that's how most people live their lives.
Yeah. And they feel that success has to have that pain, right?
Yeah, we all believe success has to be painful. We all believe, the majority of us believe success has to be hard, and because we're self-fulfilling prophecies, we'll find ways to make that true. So learning from that has then propelled me to here, but there's been a lot of shit in between. Yeah. I've gone way back into self-sabotage and self-destruction and almost compromising not only my health and well-being, but also my marriage and my support crew, to now find myself in another awakened state, but those awakenings continue to happen. It's not like I'm the enlightened one. I'm still figuring this shit out.
If you've enjoyed listening to the conversation so far, consider also subscribing to Water People on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It'll help other people find the show. And if you're feeling inspired, leave us a review. We love hearing from you. And now a word from the folks who help make the podcast possible. Patagonia is in business to save our home planet. Founded by Yvonne Chenard in 1973, Patagonia is a surf and outdoor apparel company based in Ventura, California. As a certified B Corp and a founding member of 1% for the Planet, the company is recognized internationally for its product quality and environmental activism, as well as its contributions of nearly $230 million to environmental organizations. Its unique ownership structure reflects that the Earth is its only shareholder. Profits not reinvested back into the business are paid as dividends to protect the planet. Learn more at patagonia.com.au. Many of us look to supplements and special diets to maintain our health, but ignore the obvious. We are water. It's what we're made of, and it's what supports every bodily function. Primal water, the water our ancestors thrived on, is energized, alkaline, and made for real hydration. It doesn't come from the industrialized, often contaminated water systems most of us rely on. For the last 25 years, Alkaway has been researching and refining ways to mimic natural water systems. We invite you to learn more about primal water and support their charitable work with BirdLife Australia. Head to alkaway.com to score a $50 discount using code WATERPeople. That's alkaway.com. What do you do when your sunglass lenses inevitably get scuffed or scraped? The top drawer of our kitchen island was where scratched sunglasses went to die, until we learned about the Sunglass Fix. They've been at the forefront of the repair revolution since 2006 and carry more than 600,000 lens options. So there's a solution for every frame. We found our sunnies on the sunglassfix.com and within a few days received brand new polarized lenses to easily install at home. 1 billion pairs of sunglasses are made each year, with hundreds of millions ending up in landfill. The Sunglass Fix offers free lens shipping in Australia and to 161 countries around the world, as well as subsidized express, tracked shipping worldwide for less than $5 in any currency. They're a proud member of 1% for the Planet and are ready to help make your favorite frames last longer. Use the code WATERPeople for 10% off your purchase today at thesunglassfix.com.
We had a bit of a chat about this specific question as well, where we kind of went through that cliche of the tortured artist. Like, do you have to have had pain or had trauma in your life in order to be the best, to reach for these goals?
It's such a profound question, and I've reflected on that from a science perspective, or like positive psychology. They've done research into engagement of people, and if you go on a holiday and you tell someone about this holiday and it was amazing and it was wonderful and went from A to B and nothing went wrong, it was like you watch, even in like someone just zones out and drifts off and they think, oh yeah, like another whole, they put you in that category. But if something goes wrong, everyone leans in, they're engaged. How did you get through it? They're starting to look at your mannerisms and how did you handle that adversity. And it's actually been fascinating sitting at Elements watching everyone deal with the Cancer Festival, like, because a lot of us are tortured artists who have gone through some element of pain and have written about it to heal ourselves. And I feel like that's the high performer, is like they really want to use pain not as a vice but as a virtue. But somewhere in there was a bit of pain and that grit, and that is really like light shines through the dark and you get an edge. There's a resilience, like when you really deal with it. And I feel like that to me is the modern high performance, right? Yeah. It's the person who sees that and goes, well, is it serving me or sabotaging me? But like, what can I do with this pain? Like, how do I ride that wave?
Well, nature replicates it.
Yeah.
Yes. You think about from the grub to the butterfly,
Yes.
the pain that it goes through to morph into something so beautiful, or the darkness right at dawn before the light occurs, like before the light breaks through.
Yeah.
You can feel that sense of struggle and tension. And,
does the caterpillar go, I'm going to fly tomorrow?
No.
It doesn't realise it,
Exactly. So,
but do you need pain in order to evolve?
No, you don't need it, but it's certainly...
It's an inescapable part of being alive.
It is inescapable. Yeah, it's a part of being human. Yeah, absolutely.
And so your question, Courtney, is like, we reflected on a lot of high performers have been through some sort of pain, and I feel like, and we work a lot with corporates, is they're using it as fuel. They're using it to drive and like to be seen as being smart because they were told they weren't smart when they were younger. Like everything
it propels them forward.
It propels you forward, but when is the burnout point?
Like some of the greatest gifts in this world have been the result of torture.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much in a culture where we're expected to be unique and special, we use our pain to define that specialness. Yeah, and I feel like it's part of what we reach to define our stories for many of us.
And that comes down to the stories that we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
and that's
which
the
comes
hero's
from a whole nother layer.
Yeah. So what was the point at which you two realized you wanted to create a book together. Books obviously take an incredible amount of time and energy. It's a huge undertaking. Why this project and why now?
Well, a publisher approached us. They came to one of our public events that we hosted, which essentially was the course that we created during COVID that went online and became a digital course. And then we realised that people needed their hands held to finish it. So then we hosted it online, and that was a huge success, which then turned into a corporate business model, which then continued to be
groundswell.
Yeah, well, it just continued to be refined until it became a one-day course. And then she attended the course and went, "We love this. You need to turn this into a book." And we're like, "Okay."
Okay, so where was
good.
the impetus for the course then?
Yeah, so the impetus came from after Tess walked out of hospital, I had decided I was burnt out. I was exhausted. I was giving 65 talks a year around the world. I was on the road over 180 days a year. That's not why I retired. And I asked Tess, I thought, I want to see whether I have created any, what's the word I'm looking for? What value have I created in the market where people actually pay and come to me versus me being paid to go to them? So I thought, I'm going to host a public workshop and I put a value on it, and I established the content very haphazardly. Had no idea around marketing. I had a digital agency supporting me, but they were asking me questions I didn't know how to answer. And I knew Tess was a bit of an expert in this field. And when she was walking out of hospital, I said, I've got a course that I'm hosting. It's a workshop. It's one day. I haven't sold very many tickets. I haven't even really developed the content. So you could think you could help me.
And we have a book club with Holly Ransom, who's another author, and was interviewing Barack Obama at that point in time. And we laugh because we're the only book club that have written more books than we've read. And I said, well, can we start with a bit of a workshop? Where are you at? Let's do a life stock take. And we drew up on this board what Layne was up to, and I thought, how are you feeling?
Well, my theme around my presentations was sustainable success, and I was a fucking hypocrite when I had a look at my life stock take. I was like, okay,
we teach what we need to learn.
We teach what we need to learn.
So after the success of that workshop, I said to Tess, I want to digitize myself. And at first glance, I thought, I just need to write another book. And she said, do you have the content? And I said, I've started crafting it out. I had 12 chapters because in my mind I thought, if AA can give you 12 steps to sobriety, what can Layne Beachley give you 12 steps to achieve sustained success? So I established this sustained success model over 12 steps. I pressure tested it at a keynote for News Corp. Went kind of well, but there was a few dead spots. So I was like, okay, I need to refine this. Long story short, I came up with these 7 chapters or 7 rounds to achieving sustained success. And
this is over a long period of time. We were doing a lot of therapy. We were coaching each other. We were engaging other therapists. It was a really this is the tortured artist process. Is it? And I was coming out of hospital.
Yeah, you still had
neural
flare-ups, and your hands would stop working.
And it was quite literally the tools that rebuilt my life.
Yeah,
and rebuilt yours. And we were bringing in every modality because I think Eastern meets Western meets spiritual meets we are a whole body experience, and we were bringing in everything
we'd done ourselves. So what we pride ourselves on saying is that we won't take anyone anywhere we haven't been ourselves. So this is the modalities that we rely on, as Tess said, daily to help us maintain consistency and happiness and more purpose in our lives.
What has surprised you about each other in this process?
I think from my point of view, because I'm a solo artist, finding someone who brings the best out of me every single day, working with someone who truly, the mutual amount of respect and admiration and joy that we have from working with each other, and there's no place where we don't have the courage to go. We go to the depths of despair and we come out and we just see each other. We hold that space for each other and we see each other in every single moment. And that's surprised me because I've attempted to collaborate with other people. Hasn't
worked
gone
on
well.
the I to we.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And just being able to feel safe in that has really surprised me. What about you, my friend?
Oh, it makes me emotional even thinking about it because I feel like when you came into that hospital room, I feel like you shone back something that I had lost in myself, and I had lost trust. I'd lost love. I was there because I didn't love myself enough to go and get medical treatment or help. And when you put your hand out to me, you met me in a place as like, I see you, I'm here for you, I'm with you, I'm in this. And I mean, that's what everyone's experiencing right now with the grief of losing this festival. You have to dig deeper and find something so deep inside of you. What was interesting about what I learned about you is you were finding yourself in that as well, and the new you, the retired you, like who were you now? And you were reforming an identity. And I never imagined that you could have a business partner that wasn't about making money. That's never been a conversation to us. It's been about creating something meaningful.
And nurturing our friendship.
Like everything always comes from trust first. And of course we have these funny little like married couple arguments and big conversations because, you know, it is a successful business, and now we're having to, you know, we're building teams and managing income and all of that, and we just find so much joy. But it's like, I think the thing that there's a lot of times when I'm working on my own and feeling, you know, when you feel that a little bit of isolation when you're self-employed.
It can be really lonely, and you don't have anyone to like double check your thinking. It's it's not collaborative in the same way as a duo or a team or whatever it might be.
And we talk about this left brain, right brain, which doesn't exist because they've done scans and brains fire and wire all the time, so it's a whole of brain experience. But I realised like how much power two broken souls when they get together, what energy is created. And I just get on the Zoom with Layne and we just have these big things that we're working on and holding space for thousands of people, and we just, I don't know, there's an authenticity and a beauty in you that just meets someone exactly where they're at and exactly the right time. And I know that in a business partnership or in any friendship or connection, you just, when you look into someone's eyes and like, I've got you, is the greatest friendship, business partnership of all. So yeah, that safety is, and trust is resonance with me as well.
Thank you, my darling.
That's really beautiful. So this book is about rewriting the rules of mental wellness. Can you talk us through some of those rules and why they need to be rewritten? What needs to be changed in the space of how we think about caring for self in the context of community?
I love what Vishen Likiani calls this. He refers to these as brules, so bullshit rules, because that's what we create within our own minds and our lives. And from my perspective, when it came to writing this book, it was around normalizing the conversation around the fact that we have highs and lows and ebbs and flows, and we have good days, bad days. And it's not about being a victim. It's actually about being a victor. It's about navigating our way through them and recognizing that life's not happening to us, it's happening for us, and that we have an opportunity to choose. And even by not choosing, you're still choosing not to choose. And a lot of people will go, oh, fuck you, you know, it's all right. You know, you're sitting there on your little moral high horse with all the great life, with the rock star husband living a beautiful life. But I've been through my shit too, and I chose to be a victim. And now I've chosen to be more of an architect or a victor, but because I know which choice will lead to what. And I've started to take responsibility for that. But I've also had it, as Tess said, reflected back to me that sometimes I make really bad decisions, and I've done, once again, being human. So this book is essentially a mirror. It's our life's work, it's our life experience, it's our life stories.
Our diary entries.
It's our diary entries. It's positive psychology, it's science. It's reflected back to you for you to navigate your way through your life through the lens of our experiences, for the best way I can explain it.
For me, and it was interesting, we just met with the lady who helped write the science part of this book, Sue Langley. Shout out to Sue, who lives in Byron as well, and she runs the Langley group, and I did my diploma of positive psychology and wellbeing with her. And she helped me a lot understand, like, take really complex scientific thought and theory and research and data, and like that was a surprising thing, that these Layne Beachley's 7 steps was actually grounded in really solid scientific research and data, and that was a huge growth for me. Was like, I have worked in some of the most high-performing teams in Australia, done multi-million-dollar business deals, but I was never taught around sustained success or mental well-being. It was always about how to get the most out of your team, how to perform your team, how
Extraction.
to get extraction. And we talk about the oxygen mask theory and everyone, you've got to put that on first. But I'm like, but you're not always in a crisis plane going down. Like if you're in fear or flight, you're kind of always in the crash or you're on a slow burn to a crash, and that's not always obvious to you. So when I learned around, the number one thing in my life was the labels that I had subscribed to me and put around me. And Sue says, like, the science is the label you put on yourself is the label you're subscribed to. The lens in which you see the world, the relationships that you'll attract, we're energetic water beings. Whatever you subscribe to is what is going to happen to you. And I went back through my whole life and I was like, oh my gosh, like chaos is following me. The only person that is responsible for this is me. And I see people in these positions of power, influence, even just parenting. I'm like, if we all just understood that only we are the ones that are in control of how our exterior world shows up, like, wouldn't the world be a greater, more human, more loving place?
Yeah, and if you don't know what you believe, just take a look at your life.
Yeah. So
It's
that
a direct reflection of what you're believing or subscribing to
Yeah.
or listening to or tuning into.
Yeah.
And that can be a little hard to accept.
Yeah.
Coco and I were just on a boat trip
Oh, yeah?
together,
I was wondering
surfing
whether we were going
for
to mention
10
that.
days.
Nothing bad happened.
I'm on the precipice of turning 40, so I feel like I'm entering this new phase in
Found
life,
freedom.
midlife. And I was curious to ask you both about the experience of being in the middle of our lives. If we're lucky, if we get to live out the second half or second 2/3, how has this point in your life, being in midlife, played into the construction of this book? I mean, this book couldn't have been written at any other time in your life, but how much a part of middle life has delivered the awakenings?
You get a wisdom when you go through life. And I love that saying is like, you can do more in a year than you can do in a lifetime. And that is liberating. And these tools, because I have always lived a burnt out corporate life, I never really understood that if you did 1% less, if you nurtured your body, your soul, you took micro breaks, like these are all everything in this book is free. It's just, it's not a magic pill. And that's what I want people to understand is like, if you have a toolkit, when the days are good, they're really good. And when shit goes down and festivals get cancelled and the weather is, or the wave is crashing in on you, the low isn't as low when you have that toolkit. So as I'm approaching 40 next year as well, and I'm in this constant battle of embracing my fine lines.
I'm doing that with the sunspot.
Yeah. And again, it enters you into these new labels. But I think what is incredibly freeing to me is I'm reaching the age where I've created the life that I love. And I love it because I can truly look in the mirror now and say, like, I love you. Warts, wrinkles, fine lines and trauma. And when you have the courage to do the work and to forgive yourself, like I have to forgive myself for everything that I did and didn't do to my journey to that hospital bed. And when I have that for self-forgiveness, I found love in myself. So that's the greatest gift of approaching 40 is like, I've got that, I've got it.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well done to get to this point.
And then you get to 50 and you don't give a fuck.
Tell us, Layne.
Well, we call this dynamic duo. Layne is the punch in the face and I'm the warm hug.
You're just too gooey.
Soft and gooey.
Yeah. I'm the refrigerated caramel.
What about you?
Yeah.
Can I lead a little bit into that, which like I kind of felt all of that, and we spoke a little bit just before we were supposed to do our Writers' Festival chat, but that difference between the physical pain and the emotional pain, and I feel like Tess just did that for us. The emotional pain, they're both pain, but yeah, what is the difference and how can these tools help you to deal with both kinds of pain?
Well, pain is pain.
Yes.
Irrespective of whether it's experienced emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, pain is pain. And it's the labels that you put around the pain or the stories that you write around the pain that will determine how far or how much the pain dominates your life. I like to say that when you're in shit, it's actually impossible to see anything other than shit when you're in shit. And that's what pain does. It takes you into the depths of your soul, and it makes you either do everything you can to escape it, or you just go, fuck it, I can't do anything about it, so I'm just going to subscribe to the fact that my life's just going to be like this for the rest of my life, and you don't take any action.
Yeah. But you've struggled physical pain.
I've struggled with immense physical pain.
And that, like, to your question, what's easier or what's harder, like, physical pain has a date.
There is, no, not really.
Well, like, if you've got a broken leg, your leg goes in a cast, you've got a lead time. Emotional pain, people don't notice that you're going through it. We don't have those labels.
But with the physical pain, as we all know, the body keeps the score.
Yeah.
So we both have neck injuries. We both have spinal cord injuries.
Yes.
And mine has, a lot of it is the physical component, and then it's the emotional trauma stored in that part of my body that I'm working on letting go. And every time I go to the gym, for example, I feel myself bracing against it because I'm trying to protect or hold on to something. And if we're trying to protect something, we're ultimately trying to protect ourselves. We don't want to experience that pain and that discomfort.
Yeah.
So physical pain doesn't always have an end date. Like I'm in constant physical pain management because I chose to ignore it when I had the injuries. So when I've had waves that are 10 foot high or 20 foot high land on me and crush my spine or sever my spinal cord or herniate a disc or, I've got scars, so from my board hitting me in the face, my nose being broken 3 times. Like, I've had extraordinary high pain. I have a high pain threshold.
Yeah.
The difference is it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. That's just the difference, because we all experience pain.
When I left hospital, I was in hospital with 2 boys in a wheelchair, Alex and Harrison, and I sent them a message about a couple of months ago, and I said, would you go back to the life previously, like if you could walk again? And they both said no, because the growth that they've had in their souls because of that physical pain is greater than they would have ever imagined, and the life that they lived is better now because of that pain and suffering has created an awareness and awakening in their lives. And I feel like we feel that.
It's hard to imagine how that's true.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really hard.
An extraordinary way of thinking and surviving in your own brain.
Or accepting.
And accepting, yeah.
Because I'm often asked the question, do you think you would have been a 6 times consecutive world champion without that ferocious drive and relentless pursuit of success? And I can honestly say yes.
Yeah.
I definitely would have won 6 consecutive world titles. Yeah. But because I believed that success had to be hard and that it was only worthy through pain and suffering, I made it so.
Yeah.
And I made it a lot harder and a lot more painful than it needed to be. And I proved myself right, because we'd rather be right than happy.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing learning.
Yeah. But I also know that with world titles number 1 and 7, which were my love-based world titles, they were joyful, they were fun. They weren't without disappointment and heartbreak and failure, but they didn't define me. Whereas once I became outcome-driven, everything defined me. Yeah. So when I won, but when I lost, I was a fucking dismal failure, and there was nothing in between. Yeah.
You like to say, like, I enjoyed the adventure.
Yeah. Fuck the journey, it's all an adventure. So sick of, come with me on a journey. It's like, fuck, so sick of journey.
I feel like that's what 50 brings.
Yeah, it does. If you think I'm this intolerant now, wait till I hit 60. I'm 53 now. Woo! We are on a ride.
Yeah. So this toolkit really is for people suffering emotional and physical pain, because they both do have such big impacts on your life.
Yeah.
Some that you see, some that you don't see. And I feel like in that, it's like, that is our gift back from our pain, like from pain to purpose. It's like, here you go, just do the work, read the book.
Yes. Is there a particular tool that you want to highlight, or something that you would like to leave us with as a good starting point? I mean, this book, which I'm looking at, is chock-a-block full of great tools, but is there something that you would love to just mention in particular?
Yeah, so as you said, there's an abundance of tools accessible to anyone and everyone, and they're applicable for any moment in time. The beauty of having a toolkit is you can adapt it to the different situations that you're experiencing. One of my favourites is the one that I'm wearing. It's a T-shirt that says, I'm happy, I am healthy, and I'm abundant. I am are the 2 most powerful words in the English language, because what you put after them helps you feel a certain way. Yeah. Most of us use them in a negative way and wonder why we attract a lot more negativity and fear and shit in our lives. It's because what we focus on expands.
Yeah.
So having a very positive, reaffirming, centering I am helps me hold myself accountable to how I want to show up. So today when I woke up thinking I am tired and I am feeling like I have vertigo because I did, I could walk out and complain to the world that everything's really dizzy and I'm not feeling it. Or I could ask myself, how do I want to feel? How do I want to show up? And I want to be, I know I am also feeling happy and grateful and I'm excited and I get to see Tess at breakfast. There are moments of things to look forward to. So think about the event and then determine or ask yourself, how do you want to show up in that particular moment, and hold yourself accountable to doing that. Because everything that outside of us actually doesn't dictate our lives to us. It's how we feel within us. But we need to make that conscious choice. So that's my mantra. I am happy, I am healthy, I am abundant. Problem is I attract too much abundance.
Too much rain. You attracted the rain.
No, there's sunshine, which is your mantra.
Yeah, my mantra is I am sunshine, and I had to gaslight myself about it because I didn't want to be broken Tess. I needed to be something that was greater than me, and sunshine survives all storms. It lights up rooms, it radiates from within, and it's warm, and that's who I really subscribe to being every day. And this morning when I woke up to your text and saw that the festival was cancelled, and I learnt this trick in positive psychology, is like I was so disappointed and so upset, and I just said to myself, I'm feeling really angry, really sad, really really disappointed for you. And then I just let it go, because emotions only last 90 seconds in the body, but the story we wrap around it can last for years or a lifetime. It's like, well, what do I want to be? Like, how am I going to show up to support Layne and to support Courtney and the team? And I thought, well, I am sunshine.
And the first toolkit, the first part of our toolkit is about identifying, connecting and expressing your emotions. And I know we need to teach kids, actually we need to teach adults how to do this. And they're starting to embrace that education in schools. So Tess this morning, identified and expressed and connected with her feeling by identifying and connecting with it, not being defined by it. So you can say, I am angry, or you can say, I am feeling angry.
Yeah, it gives you that space for it to pass through you.
Yeah.
So that's the controlling what you can control is absolutely is allowing yourself just to feel that moment of pain back to the start. Let it flow through you. And then I was like, okay, I am sunshine. What would I do? And that is the biggest tool that I would give everyone, is write it everywhere.
Time is precious. Thanks for spending some of yours listening with us today. Our editor this season is the multi-talented Ben Jake Alexander. The soundtrack was composed by Shannon Soul Carroll, with additional tunes by Dave and Ben. We'll be continuing today's conversation on Instagram, where we're at Water People Podcast. And you can subscribe to our very infrequent newsletter to get book recommendations, questions we're pondering, behind-the-scenes glimpses into recording the podcast, and more via our website, waterpeoplepodcast.com.